Hello again. Today I want to talk to you about this pair of pistols that I got back in April at an event from a friend of mine. They are Spanish Miquelet pistols. They're reproductions, and I don't know much about Spanish arms anyway, but I was intrigued because of the Miquelet style lock. So I went ahead and purchased them from a friend of mine, and he had got them on an auction, and he didn't really know much about them either. Well, after doing some investigating, went online, couldn't really find much about them. Pretty much what I've discovered is that they were made from the 50s to the 1970s as tourist items in Spain. Now, some of them they had pictures of were right here on this side of the lock, and this one looks like somebody may have taken it off trying to pass it off as an original. They would say 50 caliber black powder only. The other one here has no indications of that marking at all, but this one looks like it might have had one. So needless to say, I don't think I will be firing either of these, because some of them were made just as wall hangers. You hang them on the wall and they look good. Although both of them do have the vents drilled. I put a flint in one, but it didn't hold very well because the jaws they're smooth. They don't have anything to grip in there. It did spark. I believe it was this one that I sparked. But in any case, they aren't. Let's just say, I'm not willing to put my health on the line to take these out and shoot them. I may at one point in time rig up something, tie a string to it, and you'll see why here as I get into it a little bit more. But anyway, both of these pistols have captive ramrods, and that's part of the thing. When I was doing my investigating, they had some that just had a brass nose guard or no nose guard, not this style, which is more of a French style, but they didn't have the captive ramrod. On one of the forums I was on, someone had a pistol just like this and was asking about it, and some people were saying, well, it looks like it's kind of sort of 1815 to 1825, but that this was an English thing. Like I said, I'm not really sure, don't know a whole lot about it. But if you look, the fit and finish on these, I mean, it's obviously got modern screws in the parts. I mean, they're flathead screws, but they just don't look like period screws should be. If you look at the triggers, this one has a real nicely finished machine trigger. And this one is rough as all get out. It's got scratches on it. It looks like somebody just took a file and hacksaw and hacked it out of a piece of plate steel and then filed it down, and it's very rough. Now the Miquelet lock, as you can see here, I've got an English lock here, so you can compare the differences. You have your main spring on the outside. The frizzen spring is actually underneath this plate right here. They do open, and like I said, they do have their vents drilled, although that one's awful low. Instead of the tumbler like on this to activate your sear and stuff, I haven't pulled the locks off, so I don't know what's going on for sure, but this one here is in half cock, and there's a pin right under that spring, and I have some close-up pictures I'll put up. There's a pin right under that spring, and then I have this one at full cock. There's a little bar that comes out up when you have it in the full cock position right there. So when you pull the trigger, both of those pull back in and allow the cock to fall, which would if it had a flint in there. And I'm not so sure. Like I said, I did get one to spark, but that's awful. It's an awful short throw, and the flints, the flint it would take is pretty small, but you have to have a short flint, or at least short sticking out. And like I said, there's nothing in there to really grip very well on that. The side plates on both of them are just a simple side plate, and you can see they've got these, looks like stainless steel screws. Same thing with the butt cap. The nose band up here is very similar to the French, and I do know some of the Spanish, on some of their weapons, they did use French style embellishments, so that's not really a disclaimer. I just don't know about the captive ramrod. Like I said, I don't know enough about Spanish arms to say whether this is patterned after an actual gun or if it's just something people made up for the tourist trade. Now on the barrel here, there is an engraving, and it basically translates as for the basically that this was the Royal Guard. I can't read it right now, and it's awful dark. But then also on there, on this side, I think you can see it better on this one, they have that engraving on there that basically says it's for the Royal Guards of the King, and all the pistols they have this same engraving, exactly worded the same. It's just a stamping they put in there, and then it's got like a little proof marker cartouche up here, and it's the same on all the various. Like I said, this was not the only style of pistol that was made. And then right here they have a series of numbers. It's like a serial number. Let me see if I can get it where I can read it. AN62, but in front of it, it's got, I think it's a 32. I'll post a picture of that with the video too. Anyway, all the guns also have that same numbering on the side. I don't know if it's supposed to be a unit number and a serial number or a rack number, but every gun that I've seen a picture of has the exact same engraved wording on the top, which I believe is stamped and not engraved, and the same numbers down here. Every single one over the whole span of the things. And from what I understand, that people, when they would fly into Spain to visit between the 50s and the 70s, these were sold in tourist shops. And most of them were supposedly non-fireable, but there are supposedly some that can be fired. And like I said, I may put a load in here, proof it, and stick it in a tire with a string to it and get way back and pull the trigger. But more than likely, I'm just going to use these as wall hangers. I mean, I may take them, I may make a pair of pistol buckets to put on a saddle, in which case you would only maybe see the handles, so they would be okay as long as they never came out of the pistol bucket. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you know anything about these style of pistols, or know somebody that has one or something and can give me some more information, just leave a comment. This is one of these things, when I saw it, a buddy of mine had them, he didn't like them. He had ordered one, and it wasn't the pistol that was pictured in the auction. So he complained to the guy, and the guy sent him the other one. And like he said it was actually in worse shape than the first one. So he was gonna send them back, but he told me if I wanted them, if I paid for them, he'd send the guy the money instead of sending them back and just purchase another gun somewhere else, basically. So I probably paid a little bit too much for them, but they weren't real expensive. But I just, I've been looking at maybe picking up a Miquelet style lock musket, because I know they had like the 1757 Espositas were used by the Continental Army and used during the American Revolution, so I want to pick one up for my collection. There were some Spanish guns that were issued to the Continental line or used by the militias and such. the Spanish influence seems to be ignored by a lot of historians and stuff. I don't want to say totally ignored because there's more information coming out now, but for a long time you don't really hear about the Spanish aid that was sent into the colonies and America. So I was hoping I would get something that I could put in with my stuff, and I still can use them. I mean, they will be put on some displays and stuff. And if they are a later gun, you know, they're, you know, I do War of 1812 too. So anyway, that's about all I have for these. I hope y'all enjoyed this little video. And if anybody knows anything, like I said, just drop a line in the comments. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.